actually looked at him and I was like, this is why I'm getting an agent filing. Like, XYZ. Ugh. What a flaming mess.
Circle done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Today's Wednesday, kids shoot free with a shooting parent at Second Amendment Arms and Range. And tomorrow is the Defensive Pistol Open League night. Make sure you get more information about that by going to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. All right. Boy, there is a lot of interesting things happening with Jeffrey Epstein. And I want to make this very clear. There's a lot of rumor, okay? There's a lot of stuff that we haven't been able to independently confirm yet. So some of the latest screams and yells were heard from Epstein's cell the night that he died, okay? And again, I don't have independent confirmation of this. There are so-called anonymous sources. You know how I feel about anonymous sources without documentation or proof. Now, there's another thing. The latest explanation as to why Jeffrey Epstein's suicide was not prevented is that his guards were asleep for the 3 hours before it happened and later falsified records to make it look as if they had checked on Epstein. I think there was something that came out over the weekend, last weekend or something like that, that they hadn't checked on him in like 5 hours or something. The two staff members in the special housing unit where Epstein was held, 9 South, falsely recorded in a log that they had checked on the financier, who was facing sex trafficking charges every 30 minutes as was required, according to the New York Times. Now, the guards had, in fact, been asleep for some or all of the 3 hours, according to the report. By the way, the warden of the prison has been transferred to a different prison and kind of seen as a demotion. But now, you have to understand something. They have been saying from the very beginning that the guards were working like 80-hour weeks. So everybody was overworked. Everybody was super tired. So again, I want to stress that this is all plausible as an accurate statement. Okay. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today again, and he's of the impression that Epstein's still alive. And I firmly believe this very concrete thing. Okay. So I'm going to finally give you a definitive answer to what my opinion and feelings are on the Jeffrey Epstein so-called suicide. Okay, this is my stance. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein is either alive or dead. That's what I believe. Okay, it's one of those two, because either of them is plausible. All right, at this point in time, it is certainly possible that he is alive and being held in witness protection. As I've said before, this has happened before. It has been done before. And I also think it's entirely possible that he is dead. If he is dead, I think that it is most likely that he killed himself. I also think it is very possible that somebody offed him. All right. Now, remember, he said that somebody tried to kill him the last time they said that he tried to commit suicide. But at the end of the day, I honestly have no feelings passionately in either direction on this. And I think that it's all possible. I really do. This isn't one of those things where I look at it and go, you guys are all nuts for thinking this. There's just too many things. Again, simplest explanation. I know we've already said this a million times. The simplest explanation is often the most accurate. Okay. That would be he killed himself in his cell, some way, shape, or form. Now, there is somebody who used to be in that jail, and a lot of people are giving this traction, running out there and saying, yeah, but the sheets in the cells are not like sheets. It's like more like paper. Okay. But you can make paper into rope. You can track the fibers on that thing. It becomes strong. You can absolutely hang yourself with paper. Okay, it can happen. So the notion that just because the sheets were paper-esque doesn't mean he can't twist them up and create rope with it. He certainly can, and he can certainly do enough damage to kill himself. Just because they're paper sheets doesn't mean anything. All right. I've seen a lot of people kind of run with that. You have to understand there is something called paper micarta. Now, I understand that resin is involved, but paper micarta is just layers of paper. I can make it with normal paper. All right. This is handle scale material for knives, and it is used for a whole host of other things. All you do is you take a piece of paper, put some resin on there, lay another piece of paper on top, put some resin on that, lay another piece of paper on top, put some resin on that, and it becomes one of the hardest materials that you can have in your own house. All right, it's very durable, very strong. So yeah, paper can be very, very strong given the right circumstances. If you have long pieces of paper, you can twist it. Everybody knows this. Tear a newspaper in half. Easy to tear a newspaper in half. Take the newspaper, roll it up into a twisted pile, and now try and tear it in half. You can't. So it's easy to have that happen if that person's even being accurate about the sheets, and I don't know that it is. I'm just saying it's plausible. Okay. So anyway, it was during those 3 hours that these guards were asleep that Epstein allegedly hanged himself using bed sheets. However, some contend that the whole incompetence angle now being pushed by the media is simply a distraction from what really happened. So now I want to make this crystal clear. There's a bunch of people on the left and a bunch of people on the right and a bunch of people in the middle who all think that this does not pass the smell test, that this is just extremely odd, extremely weird, and very, very strange. Apparently, I have heard the FBI is involved in the Virgin Island raids. So some people are not the FBI, but the New York Police Department. So now some people are wondering, why is the NYPD out there, that sort of thing. But it is the 2nd District of New York who's doing this. So there's a lot of questions that have to be answered, and there's some other stuff going on too that people have told me, and I've seen in reports that would seem to suggest that there is a major sort of an operation happening right now. So that makes me think, one of two things: he is alive, and he's talking, and this is really big. The other thing is he's dead. And this is really, really big. We know something that hasn't been released to the public yet, and this is extremely big. And they're just making sure that they get all of the information. Okay, and like I said, it's possible he just killed himself in his cell. However, there is so much lining up here. It seems like a Hollywood script, right? Allegedly, he's on suicide watch. Then all of a sudden, his lawyer requests he's not on suicide watch. Then he dies. He had a cellmate, which I don't know that I know is true, but allegedly had a cellmate, and cellmate was transferred out right before he died. I don't know why he would have a cellmate under suicide watch. But then again, they took him off the suicide watch. So I suppose it's possible he had a cellmate. I don't know. So then he's dead right after that. Of course, he dies the evening, early morning, right after the 2,000 pages are released in the court case with him, which doesn't look very good for him at all. There's a whole bunch of weird things that just kind of line up, and I totally get why people are skeptical of either story here. All right, but I also don't want anybody to go down the rabbit hole and just like super go nutso over this or anything like that, like they did with 9/11 and some of the other conspiracies that didn't have any evidence. But this is, again, very, very strange, no doubt about that. And I either way could be true. Dave, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
How are we doing, Case?
I'm doing well. What's up?
Hey, I heard you talking about the breaking stuff on the Epstein thing, and I think you had left one of the things out that I had heard.
Okay.
And that was that one of the guards, he actually died in a horrible accident tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. You're like the third person to call me on that this week. You realize that, right, Dave?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, somebody yesterday, somebody the day before.
I tried getting
Look, if that happens, all right, you got me. I'll grab the tinfoil. I'll go to the dollar store, I'll get the tinfoil sheets, and I'll wear it. Okay, I'll wear it for the whole live stream if that happens.
Sorry, I wasn't the first. Okay.
No, but here's the thing. Okay, there are prominent members of the media who are laying out the things that everybody else is laying out. And I saw a couple of them go, I'm officially a conspiracy theorist on this. So there's people on the left, people on the right. There are bloggers. There are everyday Americans. There are people in prominent media with verified blue check marks on Twitter who are all saying the same thing. Now, they all think somebody on the opposite political end of the spectrum killed him, but they all think that this is a conspiracy of some kind. So, and right. the sheer number of, shall we say, prominent so-called educated people who believe that this was not a suicide should probably at the very least give your average everyday American pause and go, why is it that so many people believe that this isn't a suicide? It's just
I think
weird.
You're taking the proper tack on this in that there's no way to know it. And I mean, they could be covering something up, or it could be exactly what they're telling us. Who knows?
Sure. And look, the investigation just started. The guy just died. Everybody's like, well, where's the camera footage? They wouldn't release the camera footage this early. That would never happen in an investigation like this. Never. In a million years would they release the hallway camera footage of this. So you wouldn't know right now. And,
Right.
you know, at the end of the day, they may have the camera footage as they conduct their investigation. They said the coroner is still waiting for stuff to come into. They may conduct their investigation, and they might release the camera footage, and they will show you, and people will go through and scrutinize that no frames were cut out or anything else. Nobody went into a cell. You know, or there will be some silver-haired gray fox guy who is running around with a blue suit and a blue tie like Bill Clinton does, and he sneaks into the guy's cell and kills him. I don't know.
Right.
I've got no idea. Or it's Chelsea. Somebody said that Chelsea's the hitman of the family. I had no idea.
I think I got a better chance of guessing the Powerball numbers than trying to figure out what happened there.
Yeah, it's so early, but there's no doubt that this is unusual. And killing himself is not unusual. The circumstances surrounding his death are unusual. So that's where everybody is looking at this and going, and it could very well be a perfect storm of a prison overworking their guards 80 hours a week, and you pass out for 3 hours. You don't want to get in trouble, so you lie and you go, yeah, we totally checked on the guy. That's, again, it's plausible that that's what really happened, but we don't know yet.
Right.
All right. I got to roll, man. Appreciate the call.
Yep.
All right. Take care. I just wanted to give you guys the updates. The guards now, according to the New York Times, the guards fell asleep for 3 hours and then lied about it on the paperwork. Okay. So I'm just giving you the updates on it. I'm not here to peddle one or the other conspiracy theory. I'm just letting you know what the latest is. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Moving on from that. In case we get another
we're
caller.
moving on.
Okay.
Years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch.
It's weird. I mean, it's weird as hell. I get it. It's all.
I wouldn't doubt it.
All
I wouldn't
weird.
doubt that he killed himself because he had the time.
It would make sense that he killed himself. You know, but the thing that gets me is that, all right, so this happened with 9/11 too. A bunch of people who don't know science and don't know metallurgy started freaking out
But Casey,
about science and metallurgy.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Right.
It doesn't burn hot enough.
Right. Talk to a blacksmith, okay? Blacksmiths don't use jet fuel. And it's weird how they can manipulate metal. But, you know, when you don't know anything about that stuff, then yeah, it's again, magic is science that hasn't been discovered yet. And if you are not a person who has any scientific knowledge of all of that stuff, then it looks like magic to you. You know? Tom Kramer, what difference does it make?
It's also a fair point.
Oh, it's so friggin' funny though, honestly. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess right now. Can't believe my kid goes back to school tomorrow. Tomorrow's her first
Concord
day.
went back today.
She's got back to school tonight, and then she's got.
Do you have your back to school list yet?
No. We're gonna find out who the teacher is today. And so they said, well, nobody expects her to have all of the supplies that first week, you know. So I assume that we'll get the
that's
list,
a load of BS.
which is a load of BS. And I'm like, I've seen that show before. So I assume that they'll find out who the teacher is. They'll give us the list today, and then you have to have it by Monday. Is what I'm assuming. Thursday, Friday will probably be.
I would hope so.
Get comfortable with your surroundings, that sort of stuff. But
I would
we'll see.
hope so.
Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses too.
What?
I buy vacant houses.
That really isn't a breaking news story. Russia flies nuclear-capable bombers near Alaska. Yeah, they've been doing that since before I was born. It's not a breaking news alert, people. You don't need to interrupt my day with that. It's fine. Tell me if they shoot at each other, okay? Then we can have a conversation about whether or not it's a big deal.
But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply.
It's like the
to your
paper
job.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
why
but the
4
sheets
out
are
of
like
5
paper.
employers
Yeah,
who
have you
post
ever
on
tried
ZipRecruiter
rolling paper up
quality
and tearing
candidates
it?
to the
You
site
can't.
within
It
the
can choke
first
you.
day. So
You
while
can
other
make
companies
rope out of
might deliver
paper.
a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds
There
you
is rope that
the
is made
needle
out
in
of
the
paper.
haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now.
He can kill himself
for free
with that
by
stuff.
going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ever wonder why Europeans speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1
No,
selling
maybe
language
it's
learning
because
app
they
in
live in
Europe.
close proximity to
Babbel's
places
10 to
that don't
15-minute
speak their
lessons and
language and they
award-winning
have to.
technology
Yeah,
can
no.
have you
That's
speaking
I hate
Spanish,
this
French,
commercial
German,
because of that
English,
one line.
Oh yeah, Europeans didn't used to speak other languages until Babbel was created. Now they all speak everybody's language.
Now, try Babbel free. Go to babbel.com or download
I mean,
the
if you
app.
live in the
That's
UK and you
Babbel,
vacation in France or Spain on a regular basis, you're going to learn those languages.
Or download the app to try for free.
Or if you live on the border of a couple countries, you're probably going to learn those languages.
So this is an interesting stat just to give people an idea of how small Europe is. The time it takes you to go from southern Texas to northern Texas, you're still in the same state. In Europe, you're over 12 countries.
Yeah. It's really funny seeing interactions with people online. People are like, so Europe, 100, 200 years isn't that long to them. But here it's like 200 years ago was a big deal to us.
Yeah.
But to us, a 5-hour car ride isn't immensely that long, isn't like super long.
Yeah, for them it's like, oh, I went across the whole continent for 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know?
It's some of my favorite interactions.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah, those are always
Wait,
fun.
you traveled how far?
All right, we'll talk about the D team here right now. Somebody's asking if I'm going to get to Don Lemon yet. Yeah, we'll do it at 3 o'clock. It's a weird news day, like a real weird news day.
It was a weird news day.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like there's a bunch of kicker stories and stuff like that again. I don't know. Just weird.
By eliminating the middleman, Elkhart Bedding sells quality two-sided quilted and tabletop sleep sets factory direct and saves you up to half of what a national brand costs. Get the most bed for your money.
A woman got attacked by a 9-foot alligator in South Carolina.
An alligator?
An alligator in South Carolina.
Interesting. Alligators are usually the calm ones.
Ashley Graham is pregnant. With her first kid, the actress Ashley Graham. Did you see the Mike Tyson story? He smokes 40 grand worth of pot a month.
40 grand?
He has a pot retreat. 40 grand worth a month. This explains why he's not eating anybody's ears. Okay? Pot calmed him down.
Wouldn't surprise me.
$40,000 worth of weed per month is what he says he smokes.
He might be getting overcharged for pot too, though. Who knows what kind of pot he's smoking for $40,000 a month?
Right.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Casey, what about the growing Clinton death toll? I didn't say he wasn't murdered. Okay, I don't know. I think the death toll thing has always been a very interesting story. I know that a lot of the Clinton body count list can be easily explained away with reasonable non-murder scenarios. Okay, but there are a lot of very interesting deaths that happen to be on that list. Casey, he was murdered. FBI raid was to find evidence to cover up those who are guilty. You think? Now, here's another thing that I heard. When they raided his island in the Virgin Islands, all of the electronics were gone. So, what does that mean? Were they actually gone before they got there? Were they gone after they got there? Is it a cover-up? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I really, really don't know. Now, here's what I hope is happening. Okay, I'll give you that. How about that? I'll give you what I hope, since I don't know what is happening, and neither do you. I will tell you what I hope is happening. I hope he is alive, and I hope in a year's time, maybe less, there's a special press conference. President of the United States going to have a special press conference, right? Probably right after he's reelected, okay? Have a special press conference. And instead of the president coming out Epstein comes out, and he just spills his guts to everybody right there. And then you have the attorney general and the head of the FBI and the Southern District of New York prosecutors and everybody. They all come out, district attorney. They all come out and they start naming names. All of these people have now been indicted, and we are conducting raids right now, taking all of those people into custody in order to go ahead and prosecute them for these heinous crimes. And I hope it takes like half of Congress with them, to be perfectly honest with you. That's what I hope happens. Why? Because that's the best possible scenario for my career. That's why I hope that happens. But I honestly have no clue. I have no clue. I can understand why people think he was murdered, and I can understand why people think he committed suicide. All right. A man has sued CNN's Dumb Lemon for alleged assault at a bar in Sag Harbor. A man is suing Don Lemon, claiming the CNN host attacked him at a Hamptons bar last summer. The suit obtained by Mediaite was filed on Sunday. It seeks unspecified damages for emotional pain and suffering. Okay. If Don Lemon were to beat me in a fight, I don't think I would tell anybody. How embarrassed must you be to go out there and go, Don Lemon whipped me so bad, I have emotional pain and suffering. Snowflake generation. The plaintiff in his lawsuit has previously displayed a pattern of contempt for CNN on his social media accounts. A CNN spokesperson told Mediaite in a statement that this claim follows his unsuccessful threats and demands for an exorbitant amount of money from Don Lemon. Don categorically denies these claims, and this matter does not merit any further comment at this time. The guy's name is Dustin Heiss. He claims that Lemon attacked him at a dive bar, Murph's, in July of 2018. Okay, does this dive bar in Sag Harbor named Murph's, did they have a camera? Because it's weird how every celebrity who's involved in an altercation, the bar has a camera. I don't know that I've ever been in a bar that doesn't have a camera, certainly not in the modern era. The only bar that I'm aware of that does not have a camera is the one that the Attorney General, Curtis Hill, allegedly groped a couple of women in. That is the only bar that apparently doesn't have any security cameras anywhere, because there's no evidence whatsoever that he did any of those things. And you would assume that a bar that routinely hosts members of the state legislature for these huge parties would have some kind of surveillance system. But apparently they don't, which, by the way, I don't buy. I think that they do. I just think that we're not getting those tapes released for whatever reason. So does Murph's have surveillance cameras? Now, if they had surveillance cameras, you would assume it would have captured Don Lemon's altercation with this guy. But we don't seem to have any of that. Now, remember, this happened a year ago, over a year ago. We haven't heard about Don Lemon assaulting somebody in a year. That seems strange, right? Heiss, who was working as a bartender at another Hamptons watering hole at the time, said that he approached Lemon at the bar one night after recognizing him. He tried to get Mr. Lemon's attention and offered to buy him a drink, the suit claims. CNN host declined, stating he was just trying to have a good time. Later in the night, the suit says that Lemon approached Heiss. Mr. Lemon, who was wearing a pair of shorts, sandals, and a t-shirt, put his hand down the front of his own shorts and vigorously rubbed himself, removed his hand, shoved his index middle finger in the plaintiff's mustache under his nose. Okay, so now, for the record, do I buy any of this? No, I don't buy any of this, but I think it's hysterically funny when people who falsely accuse others or will breathlessly report the false accusations with no evidence of others. And that's what I think this Dustin Heiss guy is doing. I think he is proving a point that Don Lemon will easily report on unsubstantiated claims against conservatives. And so he's going to make an unsubstantiated claim against Don Lemon and see exactly how this goes down. So the man is suing Don Lemon, claiming him that he did all of this. He rubbed himself and then he put it in this guy's face. So it's like a form of sexual harassment or whatever. Let's see. In a statement to Mediaite, for CNN's claim that Heiss's social media accounts displayed contempt for the network, a Twitter account under the name Dustin Heiss has been deleted. An Instagram post from January of 2017, purportedly posted by Heiss and obtained by Mediaite, showed him posing in front of CNN's headquarters in Atlanta, along with the caption, touring the CNN Center today, or as Trump would say, the home of fake news, LOL. In a statement to Mediaite, Heiss's attorney pushed back on CNN's claim about Heiss's social media post. Quote, the assertion that Mr. Heist would put himself through the painful process of filing a sexual assault lawsuit against his attacker all because he doesn't like a cable TV station is ludicrous. I don't know. There's been people who have filed frivolous claims before for far less. Rather, he took down his social media accounts on the day he filed the lawsuit against Don Lemon because he's a private citizen and wants to protect himself from CNN's heavy-handed tactics. By the way, CNN is known for doxing people who do stuff like this. So there's some legitimate claims there by the attorney. A source close to Lemon told Mediaite that Heist demanded $1.5 million from CNN in exchange for not filing the lawsuit, and Lemon refused, claiming that he had done nothing wrong. The alleged attack, the suit claims, left Heist with feelings of shame, humiliation, anxiety, anger, and guilt, and affected his work at the Hamptons. He said word of the alleged attack spread around the area and led to locals humiliating him at the bar that he worked. So he's claiming that this whole area in the Hamptons, which is Sag Harbor, that they all know that Don Lemon rubbed his privates and put it in this dude's face. Why haven't we heard anything about that in a year? Okay? I'm just, like I said, I've got no sympathy for Don Lemon because Don Lemon breathlessly reports all of these things and he doesn't care about proof. So, you know, when somebody makes an accusation against him without proof, I suppose, to each his own. Turnabout's fair play, right? But do I believe the accusations? Not necessarily. Seems a little suspicious to me. And if it did happen and everybody in the Hamptons knows about it, why hasn't somebody made mention of this somewhere in the past year since it happened? We got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news.
Sam, you're funny. There's so many plays in Don's name. I mean, so many. Lamont, Dumb Lemon, Limone, all sorts of things. Mishawaka High School had 2 cop cars outside of it today. That is officially the most police I have seen at a school in Michiana patrolling the school zone since I've been here.
Oh, you haven't lived in Elkhart that long.
Although I will say that Elkhart's traffic enforcement has been the most vigorous of any other locale in Michiana. I talked with somebody in government about that. I was like, you guys really enforce your traffic laws here. You're like, you're super strict. And they go, what? Really? We're kind of lax. No, you're not. No, you are not.
I've been pulled over more times by Mishawaka and South St.
Have
Joe
you?
cops than Elkhart cops.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've never been bothered by
And
Mishawaka.
I know that I've accidentally sped by Elkhart cops on my way home.
See, I've had the exact opposite experience, but oh well. So only Facebook is showing in the stream? Alright, hold on. I don't know that there's anything I'm going to be able to do about that. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Yep, doesn't appear to be going through, does it?
Well, increases
Well.
throughout the afternoon with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible as we get through this evening. Daytime highs stop out near 8.
I honestly don't know what to do about it.
An isolated shower possible, and that's the case for Thursday morning as well. We'll left with cooler air as we'll see a high of 76. In the ABC 7 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melanie.
News powered by the Alzheimer's Association. The Walk to End Alzheimer's returns to Michiana on September 15th. Register to walk at alz.org/walk.
I can see all of them in my dashboard.
Higher on Wednesday. This is Hoosier Ag Today, the Wednesday closing farm market report. Good afternoon. I'm Eric Pfeiffer. Money continues to flow out of the grain complex in general, despite those couple of brief pushes we had. Post-USDA report on Monday in soybeans and wheat today. The big story, though, might be that corn did finish down double digits, but still had losses on the day. September down 7, finishing at 359.
Okay, well that one went through, so maybe Twitch is working.
September beans off over a dime, 865.5, down 11 on the Novi contract at 878.
So it looks like Twitch and Facebook are working. Is Twitch working too? No, maybe not. Crap, I don't know.
Cattle off 75 cents at 98.50. October lean hogs up 220, 66.77. Tune in for market analysis in the Hat Morning Edition podcast at HoosierAgToday.com. I'm Eric Pfeiffer. Hoosier Ag Today, timely, relevant, credible.
The Fox Business Report brought to you by Modern Kitchen, creating your dream living spaces so you can redesign, remodel, and relax. Modern Kitchen on McKinley, east of Ash Road in Elgart.
There's like not like a refresh option for the widget either.
You just have to shut it down and restart it in order to do that?
I have to shut it down, load it back in the scene, and then get all the dimensions right, which is not an easy thing to do.
I'd imagine not.
And shares of retailers are lower as disappointing results from Macy's and growing concerns of an impending recessionary cycle are weighing on the sector. Macy's stock has plunged 13% after the department store chain lowered its full-year earnings outlook after missing profit expectations in the latest quarter. Department stores continue to move shoppers to newer forms of retail. And Charter and Disney have reached a multi-year carriage agreement, avoiding the blackout of networks including ESPN and ABC. As part of the deal, Charter will carry ESPN's new college sports channel, ACC. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Hillary Barsky.
Well, guess we're just gonna have to deal with it, folks. Not much I can do. Sorry.
That's why he trusts Super Poly Grip, so he can enjoy his steak with full confidence. Sounds like there's a party going on, but something's missing. The birthday gal's arrived, and thanks to Polydent, her bright smile is anything but a surprise. Polydent.
What do you need done on your house? The basement could be finished. The kitchen needs updating. Your deck is not the way you want it. Or maybe you just want an entirely new room added to your home. That's what you call Graver Custom Remodeling. They come to your home with vision and experience that leads to some of the finest projects done in the area.
It came through.
Graver is a family name.
So Twitch and Facebook are working.
There are no corners to cut. Everything is measured twice. Graver Custom Remodeling works with higher-end vendors, materials, and craftsmen to complete truly custom projects. When you see your new addition in your mind and meet with the Graver team, you begin to see what custom really means. Whether you're restoring a 100-year-old farmhouse, creating your ultimate living space, or taking your kitchen.
Yep, nothing working on YouTube today.
Custom, make it a family decision. Call in the Graver family.
That might be YouTube's fault, because YouTube has changed the whole live dashboard thing. So.
Hey guys, it's Sue.
So when they change things around like that, their API changes, and it becomes a bit of an issue. So that would be my guess.
She writes, Dear Sue, my husband and I used to have a great life in the bedroom, but in the last few years, he has struggled. He's tried about everything, but nothing has worked.
Where
Then one day
is
he came home and gave me a night I will never forget. He told me about this
the
secret
new
formula
YouTube live
Noxatril
thing?
that changed our life in the bedroom once and for all. Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend Noxatril to every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxatril is all natural, it works to increase blood flow.
Because live dashboard is like not it
pill on
anymore.
steroids.
It's some
Noxitril has
new
a special
thing.
free bottle offer, shipped discreetly to your door.
Find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-551-4182. That's 800-551-4182. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-551-4182. That's 800-551-4182.
Hi, this is Dr. Roger Pacino. Does this sound
Sorry,
familiar?
folks.
You have a toothache, haven't been to a dentist in years, and money is tight. You don't want to be pressured.
Yeah, so if I go to youtube.com/live dashboard, it takes me to the previous day's stream and I'm offline. And then I have to click on today's date to move over to the new system, which is youtube.com/live_event. So instead of live dashboard, it's live_event. Which is annoying as hell.
With or without an appointment to receive the care you need, whether you have dental insurance or not. If cost is a concern, we can discuss payment plans that fit your budget. We're here to listen and provide the right dental solution to meet your needs. Don't wait to take care of your dental pain. Call 1-800-TOOTHACHE or visit Afdent on Douglas Road in Mishawaka.
Yeah, YouTube's not even letting me connect to that right now. So I think it's a YouTube issue, guys, with the API. I don't think it's my software. I think YouTube is dinking around with their live streaming, and that's causing issues with the API.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Once again, located in New Carlisle. If you mention me, you get half off your range time. Today's Wednesday, so kids shoot free with a shooting parent, and tomorrow is the Defensive Pistol Open League night. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. There is a new Project Veritas leak, and the video illustrates that when you search for Paul Joseph Watson YouTube channel on Google, the YouTube channel does not even appear on the first page of the results. Paul Joseph Watson actually wrote at summit.news that neither of his videos even show up when he does a search page. My channel doesn't even appear on the first 15 pages of search results. Now, remember, we've gone over this before. Almost nobody goes to page 2. It's like 90 or something like that. 90% never go to page 2. And I might be off by a couple of percentage, but it's that high. And then page 2 to page 3, it's like 97, 98% never go to page 3. So if this is the case with Paul Joseph Watson, then, you know what, I'll just do it right now. So I'll do Paul Joseph Watson YouTube channel. I'll do a search. And it's right. I'm looking on page 1. There's a bunch of videos that are anti Paul Joseph Watson, but no, his YouTube channel is not showing up. Wow, that's interesting. Far-right extremists, a whole post about that came up about him, but he's right. So again, Paul Joseph Watson, very famous dude. Very famous YouTube channel. And if you go to Google and you search his name, his channel doesn't even show up. And his videos don't show up. Videos that are critical of him show up on the first page. Isn't that interesting? So he actually posted on Twitter. He goes, yes, it's totally normal that when you search Paul Joseph Watson YouTube channel on Google, my YouTube channel doesn't even appear in the first page of results. There's no bias at all. They literally broke their own search engine to censor me and many others. Interesting. Searching directly for the exact title of videos on YouTube itself also just returns a wall of non-related mainstream media results. So if you're searching for a specific Paul Joseph Watson video on YouTube, which again, owned by Google, you won't be linked to his video. Google has literally broken its own search engine to ensure people cannot find my channel. New documents released by Project Veritas from a Google whistleblower reveal clear examples of algorithmic censorship where conservative websites are deliberately blacklisted by Google and prevented from appearing. As Dr. Robert Epstein has proven, Google's algorithmic censorship can shift millions of votes on Election Day. We played that audio for you not too long ago. So Paul Joseph Watson over at Summit.news, which by the way is a good little news site, and it's it's not InfoWars or anything like that, although he is associated with them. It's his own website, and he picks up on stories like this. And the interesting thing is that he can use himself as an example in a test case because he's obviously been censored quite a bit. And I just did it on Google. I searched his name and YouTube channel, and it did not come up at all in that first page. I didn't dive 15 pages into it. But as we all know, most people never go to page 2, and almost nobody goes to page 3. So if he's on page 15, like he says, nobody is going to find his YouTube channel by searching for him on Google. And he also said that when you search for specific video titles on his channel, on YouTube itself, which is where his channel is, they will not take you to his video. They will send you, show you other results, which means that they are, again, going out of their way to make sure that you cannot find a content creator while still saying that that content creator can be on their platform. And I'll tell you what Project Veritas's whistleblower has to say about all of this coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Interesting. Well, you know what I got to do. I got to search for mine now.
Tonight will drop down near 60 degrees for the overnight low, and still have a chance for maybe a lingering shower. And that's the case into Thursday morning as well. But through Thursday, we see clouds start to clear on out. The daytime highs very comfortable, only warming up to 76 degrees. We're on 78 on Friday with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. A gorgeous day to get outside, but for Saturday,
all right. Casey Hendrickson YouTube channel.
The humidity will start to go back up over the weekend as well as those temperatures staying in the 80s.
I showed up. So that's good.
We have an Indian read coming out of the break, by the way.
Yeah, buddy.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? Alrighty, calling about the Joseph Watson. Is that his name?
Paul Joseph Watson.
Paul Joseph Watson. Alrighty, can I get your first name, please?
Yep. He does have some good videos.
Alrighty, I'll try to get you on there.
No doubt about it. Very entertaining. Alright, let's see if YouTube lets me in the control room now. Yeah, YouTube's new control room is not loading on my browser. So the old control room for the live stream is not available, and the new control room is not loading. So that's my assumption as to why you're not getting YouTube comments on the video. That YouTube is jacking with it.
Just visit retirewithpurpose.com.
Investment advisory services through Hospitalis Securities LLC, registered investment advisor.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. That's why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.
By the way, Happy, thank you for the follow on Twitch.
That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ever wonder why Europeans speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons and award-winning technology can have
it
you
actually
speaking
let me into
Spanish,
the...
French, or German within weeks.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I was taught the wrong way.
Now, try Babbel free. Go to
Interesting. They have a broadcast alert system now.
BBEL.com or download the app to try for free.
And they have an ad insertion feature. So now I can choose when an ad runs on YouTube's platform. Interesting. I'm going to test in this dashboard. Very, very interesting.
The top local stories, updated all the time on 95.3 MNC.com. On News Talk 95.3 Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Don't forget your Indian read.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. By the way, did ride the motorcycle in today. I don't know why everybody asks me that every day. Did you ride the motorcycle today? Yeah, I rode it. I rode it today. I didn't get to ride it yesterday, but I did get to ride it in today. Had a good day. Took a nice little detour. Went to a part of town that I don't usually go to. Ended up being a really beautiful ride. So that was nice on my way into work today. And if you want to experience that, whether you have a motorcycle, haven't ridden in a while, or you are a new or even prospective rider, go to Elkhart Indian Motorcycle. Check out their motorcycle selection there. And I will, by the way, partnering with Elkhart Indian Motorcycle, I will have another abate course thing coming up. The commercials will officially launch on Friday. Stay tuned. This is basically your last opportunity to get into an abate course this year because they're all full, okay? So go to ElkhartIndianMotorcycle.com. Check out the new 2019 lineup of Indian motorcycles. They are phenomenal. Some of the best paint schemes you are going to run across. I'm usually not a white motorcycle guy. I'm usually not a white car guy either. They have this amazing white color on their motorcycles that just looks phenomenal. And their chieftains, man, they look like stormtroopers with this white paint job. It looks gorgeous. Go check them out, ElkhartIndianMotorcycle.com, or visit their showroom in person at 3016 Brittany Court, again in Elkhart, Indiana. When you go into Elkhart Indian Motorcycles, make sure you let them know that I sent you there. To the phone lines we go, talking about some of the censorship. There is another leaker for Google that Project Veritas has released today, and Paul Joseph Watson was just talking about how when you search for Paul Joseph Watson YouTube channel, his YouTube channel does not come up in the first 15 pages of Google search results. Mine does, so at least they're not censoring me that way yet. Derek, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Hi there.
I had a question regarding the Paul Joseph Watson situation.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't YouTube also censor leftists like Louis Farrakhan as well? And I'm wondering why we're so obsessed with just the right wingers, but also like, shouldn't we be concerned even with people we disagree with, like the left wingers, like Louis Farrakhan?
Last I heard, Louis Farrakhan had not been censored on YouTube. Louis Farrakhan had been disciplined by Facebook recently, but that was after multiple rounds of disciplining or censoring conservatives. Now, there are some people on the left who do get censored. Those are primarily anti-war groups. They have had some issues with censorship on social media in the past. Generally speaking, when you censor a conservative on one of these platforms, the first thing that conservatives will do is point out that Louis Farrakhan, who is racist and anti-Semitic, undeniably so, has been left alone. And so what ended up happening with this last panel with Facebook, I believe it was, is they actually censored him too. And that's where I think Snoop Dogg got involved in it and was really upset about it, and that sort of thing. But that's the first time that's ever happened. So it was a new thing. And what many people believed is, okay, we've got years and years of this happening to hundreds, maybe even thousands of prominent conservatives and conservative websites, and they just did the one Farrakhan. So a lot of people felt that it was just a way to give them plausible deniability that they control it on both sides. However, if if you look at Tim Pool's YouTube page, he will highlight, some of the left-wing groups, mostly anti-war groups that have been censored. Tulsi Gabbard has been censored as well. So she's in the middle of a lawsuit right now with Google over being censored right after the first debate. So it does happen. It's just that it's like a 98-2 ratio.
So should Paul Joseph Watson, should his next step be to file a lawsuit against YouTube then, or is that just like how Tulsi Gabbard is also doing?
It kind of depends on the circumstances. I think he should sue. I think everybody should sue because at this point in time, what they're doing is they're breaching contract because they're using people, they're using their information to make money. And so you have this contract that if I don't violate your terms of service, I will give you access to my information. You can use it for marketing. You can make profits off of it. You can sell ads, that sort of stuff. And the only stipulation is I have to adhere to your rules. And a lot of these people are being censored when they have not broken the rules. Paul Joseph Watson hasn't violated the rules. So why is he being buried in Google's search results? Then you have prominent department heads at Google saying that we are not going to let a Donald Trump get elected again in these meetings. So in fact, one of the people at Google who runs the social media department, they had a meeting that got leaked out as well, that they were extremely upset that they didn't do enough to prevent Trump from getting elected, and they vowed to not make that mistake again. Now, Google's not a social media network. Google is a search engine, and it's the most powerful search engine in the world, and they can swing up to 15 million votes, according to that professor. They can swing up to 15 million votes in either direction in an election. Google has foreign investors. You could argue, I suppose, if you really wanted to get into it, that Google would then be allowing foreign influence in elections. There's a whole host of weird things going on. Then on the other side, I shouldn't say extreme right, but on the far right, you have people going, yeah, but it's a private company and a private platform. So if you don't like it, don't use it, that sort of thing. Let the free market kind of dictate it. But as others have pointed out, there's still a breach of contract here. And is it really free market when you have an entity that is so powerful that nobody can compete with it?
So should Google come out as not as a platform, but more as a publication then? I've heard Ben Shapiro talk about that as well.
Well, Google itself, no. But what you're talking about is like with Twitter and Facebook, they are like Facebook right now has two cases that they're dealing with right now. One, they're arguing they're a platform, and the other, they're arguing that they're a publisher. So if they're a publisher, they can censor, but they're also liable for content that's published. If they're a platform, they can't censor and they can't be sued. So Facebook and Twitter, they have to pick which one they are. With Google, they're just manipulating the search results. Now, Google would be making this argument on YouTube because YouTube is a social media network. So yeah, that would happen.
Interesting.
And this is weird because this is typically not where I would lie, but there's a part of me that's looking at this and going, I think government might need to step in a little bit here. Now, to what extent and what that means, I don't know. But it's clear that the system right now is very, very biased.